Hey, I'm Philip Lash with Yamaha. Today we're out here at Glen Helen Raceway to ride the new 2017 YZ450F. So for 16 we already had a great package and we made some improvements for 17. Some for durability, like we have a new rear brake disc rotor that's less prone to warpage. We have a new oil strainer that's on the left side of the engine case and a new output shaft where the countershaft sprocket goes, a new oil seal there. So those changes, and along with also our airbox, we now have made a change to the tooling, so the Zeus fasteners are recessed, so less prone to make contact with your knees and come out during the moto. And along with the new recessed Zeus fasteners, we also added Dunlop's all new MX3S tires. So let's get the feedback from the test riders and see what they think.
Hey everybody, this is Pat Foster with TransWorld. We're at Glen Helen today. This is the 2017 YZ450. So as Phil said a little earlier, not a lot of changes to the bike, fairly subtle, little durability things, new tire, new material on the rear brake. Not a lot, but you know, it's already a great bike. I was fortunate enough to spend about half the year on the 2016 Yamaha. Loved it. You know, here's what we like about the Yamaha. Best motor in the class, arguably. I mean, awesome power, fantastic down low, tons of mid-range, tons of top end. A lot of guys actually here today are going in and having them play with the ignition timing, actually smoothing things out a little bit off the bottom. There's just so much power, it's not an issue. Like I said, arguably the best power in the class. Hands down, best suspension in the class. Pretty much, I think they're the only bike left still using a spring fork. Everybody's chasing lighter weight, new technology, adjustability, the whole thing. Yamaha's stuck with springs and oil, and you know what? It's paying off for them. This thing just works. It works better than anything. No surprises. It's planted coming into corners. The bike doesn't kick. It doesn't swap. It stays extremely flat in the braking bumps. And where this thing really shines is in high-speed stability. We're out at Glen Helen today. If you guys have ever come out here on a Thursday, you know it's gnarly, it's rough, it's choppy. Of course, it didn't get that bad today because there was only a handful of us riding, but that's where this bike really excels, is when it's fast, rough, and choppy, and you need that high-speed stability. You know, I don't think there's anything better. That's really this bike's forte. They went to bigger rotors on the brakes within the last couple of years. That was a huge improvement. Yamaha's brakes weren't the best, and now they're on par with everything else. Things work really good. So you might be asking yourself, well gosh, if this thing's got arguably best motor in the class, best suspension in the class, best high-speed stability, I mean, it probably leads the pack in durability. I mean, the fit and finish is unbelievable. You really don't have to work on these things much. Shoot, the air filter doesn't even get that dirty. You know, why didn't it win the shootout? Well, you know, it really comes down to personal preference and splitting hairs. You know, all the bike manufacturers are working to try to find the nexus between high-speed stability and agility in the corners. And once you find that point, anything you do to help improve one can be detrimental to the other. And like I said, Yamaha has the best high-speed stability in the class. For me, it's a little bit harder to corner. I come into a turn and I'm having a hard time getting enough weight on the front wheel to really stick it in the turns. So for me, if I was a privateer racing the Nationals, I'm coming out to Glen Helen all the time, I'm racing tracks like this, you know what, this is probably the best option for me. But frankly, I don't really like riding Glen Helen. I put my time in here. It's great training, it's great practice, it's served me well. It's not that much fun. And I'm in a position where I'm riding for fun now. And so for me, I prefer to go to places that don't get as rough, dirt's a little softer, a little tighter, a little more technical. And so for me, I would sacrifice some of this high-speed stability for a little more agility in the corners. I'd like the bike to be a little bit more unhinged, a little quicker, diving in and out of turns. And so I've played with this bike quite a bit. We set the sag, we generally run the sag at 100 millimeters. I was trying to get a little bit more weight on the front wheel. We went to 98 and played with some high-speed adjustment on the shock to kind of plant the front wheel a little bit more. Started losing some of that high-speed stability that we like so much, and it wasn't enough of an improvement to sacrifice that. So for me, this is a fantastic bike. Like I said, it comes down to personal preference. That being said, I'm lucky enough to be able to ride all of these bikes, and frankly, if you're just riding the Yamaha all the time, you kind of forget about it, and you just get used to it. It's when you get back to back with other bikes that corner a little better, you go, you know what, I kind of like that. Not everybody is afforded that luxury of being able to test all the bikes, and so people come to me a lot and say, hey Pat, what bike should I get? What's the best one out there? And frankly, after finding out, you know, what they're looking for, what they're wanting a bike, what kind of riding they're doing, the majority of those conversations have led to people buying a Yamaha and being really happy with it. I mean, bottom line, this thing's an awesome bike. Like I said, incredible motor, great suspension, ease of ownership. You don't have to work on the thing very much. You're not playing with fork settings. You're not playing with air. You're not doing. You show up and you ride the bike, and the thing works great. So, anyway, we had a great day here at Glen Helen. I appreciate you tuning in. Take a look at TransWorld. We'll have a full story on the bike, and we'll see how it does in the shootout this year. Thank you very much.